The grand chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with worried voices. Representatives from 12 advanced civilizations sat around a massive round table. Holographic displays showed the same troubling data to everyone present. Earth had gone silent. No transmissions? No responses to calls, nothing. Admiral Frank Porter entered the chamber with a stern face. His gray uniform stood out among the colorful attire of the alien representatives. He carried a datapad that displayed the latest reports from monitoring. Stations near Earth. The room quieted as he took his place at the table. Earth has been silent for 72 hours now, Admiral Porter said. All communication relays have stopped transmitting. The last message we received was brief and unclear. It simply said, "We've made our decision. Goodbye." The chamber erupted in voices again. Counselor Zix-9 of the Arcturian Federation stood up. His blue skin gleamed under the lights. "This is exactly what I warned about. The humans are unpredictable. They must be developing forbidden technology. We should send in our military forces immediately." Several counselors nodded in agreement, but others looked unsure. Ambassador Threll of the Proxima Alliance raised a tentacle. "Let us not rush to judgment. Earth has always been unusual, but not dangerous. Their history in our community has been peaceful, if somewhat unpredictable." Admiral Porter cleared his throat. "There is another concerning development. Ambassador Susan Miller has not been seen for 3 days. Her quarters are empty. Her personal communication device was left on her desk. This news created a new wave of concern. Susan Miller had been a respected voice in the Council for years. Her disappearance at the same time as Earth's silence could not be a coincidence. Counselor Dren of the Rigel Compact tapped his claws on the table. "We must consider all possibilities. Perhaps Earth suffered some natural disaster, or they could be under attack from an unknown force. Our monitoring systems would have detected signs of either scenario," Admiral Porter replied. "All our data shows normal conditions on Earth until communications suddenly stopped. No signs of disaster. No unusual energy readings that would suggest an attack." In the back of the chamber, a junior officer approached Admiral Porter and whispered something in his ear. The Admiral's eyes widened slightly. "I've just been informed that all automated relay stations throughout Earth's solar system have stopped transmitting as well," he announced. This was clearly a coordinated action. Counselor Zix-9 slammed his fist on the table. "This proves my point. They are planning something. Possibly against us." Ambassador Threll's voice remained calm. "Or they simply wish for privacy. Remember when the Bellatrix civilization went silent for a full cycle? They were merely conducting their sacred evolution ceremony. Humans don't have such ceremonies," countered ZYX-9. Admiral Porter raised his hand for silence. "Speculating without data is pointless. I propose we send a small reconnaissance fleet to investigate." Nothing threatening, just enough to assess the situation. The Council voted. Most agreed with Porter's plan, though several, including Zix-9, wanted a stronger show of force. After the meeting, Admiral Porter returned to his office. The walls displayed various images of Earth and its people. He had visited the planet many times and found humans fascinating, if sometimes frustrating. Their quick advancement from a single-planet species to a significant member of the Galactic Union in just 2 centuries was unprecedented. He activated his communication panel. "Get me Captain Patricia Evans." A few moments later, the screen showed a woman with short brown hair and alert eyes. She wore the dark blue uniform of the Union's exploratory fleet. "Admiral Porter," she nodded respectfully. "How can I help you?" "Captain Evans, I have a sensitive mission for you. Earth has gone silent and we need to find out why. I want you to lead a small fleet to investigate." Captain Evans raised an eyebrow. "All communication has stopped?" "Completely. Including Ambassador Miller. She's missing from her quarters," Evans frowned. "Susan and I served together before she became ambassador. This isn't like her. That's why I want you for this mission. Your history with Miller might prove useful. And your diplomatic skills are among the best in the fleet." "When do I leave?" "Immediately. Take the UGS Horizon as your flagship and 2 support vessels. Keep your approach peaceful. The last thing we need is to provoke Earth if they're already behaving strangely. Understood, Admiral. After the call ended, Porter walked to his window. From his office on the Council station, he could see the vast expanse of space with countless stars. Earth was out there, a small blue dot that had become surprisingly important to galactic politics. Humans had brought new ideas, art, and perspectives that many other civilizations found refreshing. Now they had gone silent without explanation. Porter felt uneasy. In his long career, he had learned that unexpected behavior from any species rarely meant good news. On the other side of the station, in a rarely used storage area, a figure moved silently through the shadows. The woman wore simple clothes with no insignia. She placed a small device on the wall, then quickly typed a sequence of commands. The device glowed briefly, then seemed to melt into the wall itself. Susan Miller, Earth's ambassador to the Council, checked her surroundings once more before moving to the next location. She had 11 more devices to plant before her work was done. Then she would return to her hiding place and wait. The timer on her wrist showed 3 days had passed since Earth initiated the convergence protocol. Soon the Council would send someone to investigate. She needed to be ready when they did. As Ambassador Miller moved through the shadows, Captain Evans prepared her ship for departure. Lieutenant Kevin Wallace, the Horizon's communications officer, uploaded all communication protocols previously used by Earth. We'll try every frequency, every encryption method they've ever used, Wallace said. If they want to talk, we'll hear them. Science Officer Alan Wright calibrated the ship's sensors. I've adjusted our scanners to detect any unusual energy patterns. If Earth is experimenting with new technology, we should be able to spot it. Captain Evans nodded. Good. Our primary mission is observation. We need information before the Council decides on further action. The UGS Horizon and its 2 support vessels departed from the Council station 6 hours after Admiral Porter's meeting with the Council. As they accelerated to faster-than-light speed, Porter watched from his window. Find out what they're doing. Patricia, he whispered to himself. Before others lose patience. Behind him, his communication panel beeped. A message from the outer monitoring stations reported unusual energy readings near Jupiter. Patterns unlike anything in their database? The mystery of Earth's silence was growing deeper. The UGS Horizon sliced through the darkness of space as it approached the outer edges of Earth's solar system. Captain Patricia Evans stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the main viewing screen. The familiar shape of Pluto grew larger as they neared. Still, no response to our transmissions, Lieutenant Kevin Wallace said from his communication station. He had been broadcasting peaceful messages on all frequencies used by Earth for the past 5 years. I've tried every protocol in our database. Nothing. Captain Evans nodded. Keep trying. They might be listening even if they're not responding. Science Officer Alan Wright worked at his station, fingers moving quickly across the control panel. Captain, I'm detecting something unusual near Pluto's moon Charon. On screen, Evans ordered. The view changed to show Charon's rocky surface. There, arranged in a perfect circle, were pieces of metal and electronic components. That's one of our relay stations, Evans said, leaning forward. Or it was. Wright nodded. It appears to have been completely disassembled. Not destroyed, but taken apart piece by piece and arranged in this pattern. Any signs of explosive damage or weapons fire? Evans asked. None, Wright replied. The components show no damage at all. It's as if someone carefully unscrewed every bolt and laid out the parts. Evans frowned. This was not what she had expected. Are the other relay stations intact? Wright checked his readings. I'm detecting similar arrangements on 3 other bodies in the outer system. All our relay stations appear to have been disassembled. In the same way, the bridge fell silent as the crew considered the implications. These weren't the actions of a hostile force or a civilization in crisis. This was something else entirely. Continue toward Earth, Evans ordered. But proceed with caution, full sensor sweeps at all times. As they passed Neptune, then Uranus, they found more disassembled equipment. Each relay station, each monitoring satellite had been taken apart and arranged in geometric patterns. Some formed circles, others triangles or more complex shapes. "Captain," Wright called out as they approached Saturn, "I'm detecting energy signatures throughout the system. They don't match any known human or alien technology. Dangerous?" Evans asked. "Unknown. The energy seems to pulse in synchronized waves across vast distances. It's almost like—" Wright paused, checking his readings again. "It's almost like a heartbeat." Evans felt a chill run down her spine. A heartbeat? The pulses occur at regular intervals like a biological rhythm, but they span millions of kilometers, connecting all the arranged components we've found. Lieutenant Wallace suddenly straightened at his station. "Captain, I'm detecting a small vessel near Jupiter. It's drifting. Life signs?" Evans asked. "1. Human," Wallace confirmed. "Faint but stable." Evans didn't hesitate. "Change course, let's investigate." The horizon altered its path, approaching the small vessel carefully. It was a standard Earth shuttle, the kind used for transport between planets in the solar system. It showed no signs of damage, but floated without power or active systems. "Bring it into Docking Bay 3, Evans ordered. "Medical team to meet us there?" 20 minutes later, Evans watched as the medical team carefully removed a stasis pod from the shuttle. Inside was a woman with gray-streaked black hair and pale skin. According to the pod's identification, she was Dr. Nancy Bell, a quantum physicist who had worked on several joint projects with the Galactic Union. The ship's doctor, Maria Ruiz, checked the pod's controls. "She's in induced suspended animation. Vital signs are normal. I can wake her if you wish, Captain." Evans nodded. "Do it, but carefully." The waking process took 30 minutes. Dr. Bell's eyes opened slowly, blinking against the light of the medical bay. She looked confused, her gaze darting around the room before focusing on Captain Evans. "Galactic Union," she whispered, seeing Evans' uniform. "You came—" "Dr. Bell, I'm Captain Patricia Evans of the UGS Horizon. Can you tell us what happened? Why has Earth gone silent?" Dr. Bell tried to sit up but seemed too weak. "The convergence protocol. It worked. Everyone agreed." "Everyone joined? What protocol? What do you mean everyone joined?" Evans asked. "The collective decision," Bell said, her words slurring slightly. "Transcendence protocol. We found the way." Dr. Ruiz approached with a medical scanner. "Her brain activity is unusual. There are patterns I've never seen before in a human." Dr. Bell suddenly grabbed Evans' wrist. Her grip was surprisingly strong. "I was left to explain, but it's hard to—" "Be separate again." Her eyes closed and she fell back into unconsciousness. "What's wrong with her?" Evans asked Ruiz. "Physically, she's fine, but her neural patterns are erratic. It's as if her brain is trying to connect to something that isn't there." Evans looked down at the unconscious scientist. "Keep her stable. I want to know everything she knows when she wakes up." The Horizon continued its journey toward Earth, now with Dr. Bell aboard. As they passed Mars, Wright reported more unusual findings. "The energy patterns are stronger here, Captain. They seem to originate from Earth itself. And there's something else, double quotes." He paused, adjusting his instruments. "All human outposts on Mars are empty. No life signs. Same with the moon bases." "Evacuated?" Evans asked. "No signs of hasty departure. Everything is in order, just empty." Evans made a decision. "We'll establish orbit around Earth and send down a landing party. I want to see for myself what's happening." As Earth came into view, the blue planet looked normal. Oceans, continents, swirling cloud patterns all appeared as they should. City lights were visible on the night side. But there was no orbital traffic, no space stations, no transmission signals of any kind. In the medical bay, Dr. Bell became increasingly agitated as they approached Earth. She woke screaming, fighting against the restraints the medical team had placed on her bed. "Too close! The field is too strong here!" "I can feel them all," she shouted. Dr. Ruiz sedated her. But Bell's brain activity continued to spike in unusual patterns. On the bridge, Evans prepared for orbit. Any change in status, Lieutenant Wallace? No communications from the surface, Wallace replied. But he adjusted his equipment. I'm detecting what might be data transmission. It's not using any standard protocol. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Can you decode it? Not even sure if it's communication, Captain. It could be the same energy pattern Science Officer Wright detected, just stronger and more complex near the planet. Evans looked at the peaceful blue world on the screen. Earth appeared normal, yet everything about it was wrong. No communications. No space traffic. Dismantled equipment arranged in patterns. Strange energy fields. And somewhere down there were billions of humans who had made some kind of collective decision. Prepare a landing party, Evans ordered. We're going to find some answers. The landing shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. Captain Patricia Evans sat beside pilot Jack Harris as they approached Washington, D.C., once the capital of the dominant Earth nation and location of the Galactic Union Embassy. From the air, everything looked normal. Roads, buildings, parks, all intact and in good condition. But something was missing. No air traffic, Harris noted. No ground vehicles moving. It's like a ghost town, Evans nodded. She had chosen Washington for their first landing site because of its significance. If anyone would have answers, they would be found here. The shuttle landed smoothly in the embassy's designated area. Evans led the 6-person team out, all wearing standard exploration gear. The air was clean and fresh. Birds sang in nearby trees. But there were no people. Anywhere. Life sign readings? Evans asked Science Officer Wright. He checked his handheld scanner. Abundant plant and animal life. No human readings within a 5-kilometer radius. That's impossible, Lieutenant Wallace sighed. This is downtown Washington. There should be thousands of people. Evans pointed to the White House, visible in the distance. We'll start there. Stay alert. They walked through empty streets. Everything was in perfect order. No signs of conflict, disaster, or hasty evacuation. Store windows displayed their goods. Cars were parked neatly along curbs. A newspaper on a bench showed a date just 3 days before Earth went silent. It's like everyone just vanished, Medical Officer Ruiz said quietly. At the White House gates, they found no guards. The gates themselves were unlocked. Evans led her team up the driveway to the main entrance. Inside, the famous building was immaculate. Rooms were cleaned and organized. Plants in pots looked recently watered. In the kitchen, food still sat in refrigerators. Check the Oval Office, Evans ordered. The president's office was empty but orderly. On the desk sat a single data crystal, the type used for official messages throughout the Galactic Union. It's addressed to the Galactic Council, Wright said, examining it. Evans nodded. Play it. Wright inserted the crystal into his portable reader. A holographic image appeared above the device, a man in his 60s with silver hair and a serious expression. President Paul Howard, the leader of Earth's global government. To the representatives of the Galactic Union, the recording began. By the time you view this message, Earth will have initiated the convergence protocol. I understand our silence has likely caused concern, and for that I apologize. This was not our intention. Humanity has made a unanimous decision to step away from the galactic community temporarily. We need to address certain fundamental questions of existence that we can only answer by looking inward. The holographic president paused, seeming to choose his words carefully. This is not a hostile action. Earth is not in danger. We have not been attacked or coerced. This is a choice we made freely as a species. We have left Dr. Nancy Bell as our messenger. She can explain the scientific aspects better than I can. Evans glanced at Wright. Dr. Bell is on our ship. The recording continued. We ask for your patience and understanding. Earth will return to the galactic community, though we may be changed by what we learn. Thank you for your concern, but please, do not interfere with the convergence process. President Paul Howard out, the hologram disappeared. The team stood in silence for a moment. A unanimous decision by all humans? Wallace finally said, That's never happened in their entire history. Evans, turn to Ruiz. Contact the ship. See if Dr. Bell is conscious. We need to talk to her. While Ruiz made the call, Evans and the others continued exploring the White House. They found more of the same, a perfectly maintained building without people. Ruiz returned a few minutes later. Dr. Bell is awake and more coherent, Dr. Carter says her neural patterns have stabilized somewhat. She's asking to speak with you, Evans nodded. Put her through on the communicator. Dr. Bell's voice came through clearly. Captain Evans, you've reached Washington. Have you found the President's message? Yes, he mentioned something called the Convergence Protocol. What is it, Dr. Bell? There was a pause before Bell answered. 6 months ago, a research team LED discovered something in the quantum structure of reality. A way to link minds at the deepest level. Not just communication, but true sharing of consciousness. Are you saying humans have merged their minds? Evans asked. Yes, the entire species voted on it. The decision was unanimous, which has never happened before. We needed to solve our internal conflicts, to truly understand each other. Physical separation has always been our greatest limitation. Wright broke in, but where are the bodies? Billions of people can't just disappear. They didn't disappear, Bell replied. They're in stasis chambers. The convergence requires physical bodies to remain stable and protected while minds explore the collective consciousness. Evans processed this information. Where are these chambers? There's a facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. It was built in secret over the last 6 months. Everyone is there. Every human from Earth and its colonies. Evans made a quick decision. We're going to this facility. Can you direct us? Yes, but Captain, please understand, this isn't something to fear. Humanity made this choice freely. The convergence is temporary, probably just a few weeks in your time perception. We needed to step away to solve our internal problems, to reach consensus on our future direction. The team returned to their shuttle and flew west, following Bell's directions. Below them, cities and towns all showed the same pattern, perfectly maintained but completely empty of people. 3 hours later, they approached a massive mountain range. Bell guided them to what looked like a small research station nestled in a valley. This is just the entrance, she explained. The facility extends deep underground. The landing party entered the station and found a large elevator. It took them down, 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 for what felt like minutes. When the doors opened, they gasped collectively. Before them stretched an enormous cavern, larger than any human-made structure Evans had ever seen. And filling this space were stasis chambers, millions upon millions of them, arranged in perfect rows that extended as far as they could see. In each chamber lay a human, eyes closed, breathing slowly, connected to monitoring equipment. This section holds about 10 million people, Bell's voice said through their communicator. There are 200 more chambers like this one throughout the complex. Evans approached the nearest stasis pod. Inside was a young woman, perhaps 20 years old. Her vital signs displayed on a small screen showed she was healthy. Her brain activity, however, was off the charts, patterns moving faster than Evans had ever seen in a human mind. They're all connected, Wright said, checking his scanner. The energy patterns we detected throughout the solar system, they're part of this. Some kind of quantum field linking all these minds together. Evans turned slowly, taking in the scale of what she was seeing. 2 billion people all thinking together. What are they trying to achieve? Understanding, Bell said. Simply, humans have always been divided. Nations, religions, ideologies. For the first time, we can truly know each other. Feel what others feel, see from their perspective. We're trying to find a way forward that works for everyone. Evans thought of the Galactic Council and how they would react to this news. Some would be fascinated, others terrified. Humans had just changed the rules of what a species could be. I need to report this to Admiral Porter, she said finally. The Council needs to know what's happening here. As if on cue, her communicator beeped with an incoming message. It was from the horizon, still in orbit. Captain? her first officer said urgently. We're detecting multiple ships entering the system, non-Union vessels. They're not responding to hails and their weapon systems are active. I think we have company. Admiral Frank Porter stood at the center of the Galactic Council chamber, surrounded by angry voices. The news of Earth's convergence experiment had spread quickly, and the reaction was worse than he had feared. This is unprecedented and dangerous, shouted Counselor Zix-9, his blue skin darkening with emotion. No species has ever attempted a collective consciousness experiment on this scale. The humans must be stopped. Stopped from what? Ambassador Threll asked, her tentacles waving in agitation. They have made no threats. They have simply chosen a different path for their own development. Porter tried to maintain order. Captain Evans reports that all humans entered this state voluntarily. There is no evidence of coercion or danger. Then why did they dismantle our monitoring equipment? Demanded a representative from the Sirius Collective. Why the secrecy? Before Porter could answer, his communication device signaled an urgent message. He stepped aside to view it privately, and his expression grew grim as he read. We have a new problem, he announced, returning to the center of the chamber. Multiple vessels from non-Union worlds have entered Earth's solar system. Their intentions are unclear, but their weapons are active. The chamber fell silent. Then Counselor Zix-9 spoke. Perhaps they see what we refuse to acknowledge. The humans could emerge from this convergence with abilities we cannot predict or counter. Some may view this as a preemptive strike opportunity. Porter slammed his hand on the table. The Union Charter forbids attacking member worlds without provocation. Earth has shown no hostility. Earth is not communicating at all, Zix-9 countered. They have effectively removed themselves from the Union by their silence. In the back of the chamber, a door slid open. A woman walked confidently down the central, all toward the council table. Many gasped as they recognized her. Ambassador Miller, Porter said in surprise. You've returned, Susan Miller nodded calmly. I never truly left, Admiral. I was here preparing for what? Demanded. Zix-9, for this moment, Miller replied. I request an emergency session of the full council. What is happening on Earth affects all of us, and you deserve to understand it completely. Back on Earth, Captain Evans and her team had returned to the horizon. They now orbited the planet, watching as 7 ships of unknown design held position at the edge of the solar system. They're from the Draconis Alliance, Lieutenant Wallace reported. Not Union members, but not typically hostile either. They're scanning Earth intensively, Science Officer Wright added, focusing particularly on the energy patterns of the convergence field. Evans turned to Dr. Bell, who had insisted on joining them on the bridge. Why would they be interested in the convergence field? Bell looked troubled. The quantum linking technology we discovered could be weaponized. If misused, it could potentially force minds to connect against their will. We never pursued that application, but others might. You're saying they might want to steal this technology? Evans asked. Or destroy it before humans master it fully, Bell replied. Either would be logical from their perspective. Evans made a quick decision. Open a channel to the Lade Draconis vessel. After a moment of static, a reptilian face appeared on the main screen. Union vessel, this is Commander Krell of the Draconis Alliance. Our presence here is authorized by our government. We are merely observing, with weapons powered. Evans challenged. Krell's scaled face showed no emotion. A standard precaution in uncertain situations. We mean no harm, but we must protect our interests. Earth is under Union protection, Evans stated firmly. Any hostile action will be considered an act of war. Krell tilted his head slightly. We recognize your jurisdiction, Captain. However, we question whether Earth remains a functioning member of your Union. Their behavior is unprecedented. Before Evans could respond, Dr. Bell stepped forward. Commander Krell, I am Dr. Nancy Bell, Earth's designated representative during the convergence. I assure you, Earth will return to normal interstellar relations soon. How soon? Krell demanded. Bell hesitated. I cannot give an exact time frame, The convergence must run its course. Krell's eyes narrowed. Then we will continue our observations. For security purposes, the communication ended. Evans turned to Bell. You need to contact the convergence. Tell them what's happening. We need Earth back online now. Bell shook her head. It's not that simple. The convergence is delicate. Rushing it could harm billions of minds. Then find a way to communicate with them, Evans insisted. Because I don't think those ships will wait patiently forever. At the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Miller stood before the full assembly. Representatives from 200 civilizations watched her intently. Humanity discovered something remarkable, she began. A way to link consciousness at the quantum level. We realized this could solve our greatest challenge, our inability to truly understand each other's perspectives. And you didn't think to share this discovery with your allies? Asked a representative from the Pleiades Federation. Miller smiled slightly. The technology is unstable. We needed to perfect it first, to ensure it was safe. The convergence is our test case. Where have you been these past days, Ambassador? Admiral Porter asked. I never left the station, Miller revealed. I was part of the convergence through quantum entanglement. A small part of my consciousness remained here, gathering data, while most of me joined the collective on Earth. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Miller continued. I was sent back fully to explain what is happening. Humanity hasn't abandoned the galactic community. We're evolving a new way of making decisions as a species. The convergence is temporary, eh? 3-week process that allows us to resolve centuries of internal conflict. And when it ends? Porter asked. Humans will return to individual existence but retain the ability to enter temporary, convergent states when facing species-wide decisions. We'll resume normal communications and re-establish our position in galactic affairs. Counselor Zix-9 stood. And what guarantees do we have that humans won't use this technology against other species? To force your consciousness upon others? Miller's face hardened. The same guarantee you have that the Arcturians won't use your matter disassembly. Technology as a weapon, trust, the foundation of our union. Meanwhile, on the horizon, Dr. Bell worked with Science Officer Wright to establish communication with the converged human consciousness. They created a quantum interface using parts from Bell's shuttle. This should create a small window into the convergence, Bell explained. Enough to send a message, maybe receive one back. Will it work? Evans asked. In theory, Bell replied. The convergence isn't designed for external communication, it's inward-focused. They activated the device. A shimmering field appeared. Above it, swirling with colors and patterns. Bell placed her hands near it, not quite touching. I'm sending the situation data, she said, her eyes closed in concentration. The Draconis ships, the Council's concern, everything. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then the field pulsed brightly. A figure began to take shape within it, shifting, flowing, never quite solid. When it spoke, the voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. We are the consensus, it said. We hear your warning. We understand the concern our silence has caused. Evans stepped forward. Can you end the convergence early? Return to normal communication? The figure rippled. No, the process must complete. But we can send a representative. Someone to speak for us at the Council. Someone who understands both our new nature and our place in the galactic community. Who? Evans asked. She is already there, the consensus replied. Ambassador Miller carries our voice. Trust her. The field began to fade. Bell stumbled back, exhausted. The connection is breaking. The energy required is too great to maintain. Before. The field disappeared completely. The consensus spoke once more. Tell the Council, humanity is not lost. We are finding ourselves, and we will return whole and united very soon. As the field vanished, the bridge crew stared at the empty space where it had been. Evans turned to the main screen where the Draconis ships still held their position. Now we wait, she said quietly, and hope Ambassador Miller can convince the Council before those ships lose patience. Ambassador Susan Miller stood calmly before the Galactic Council as questions and concerns flew at her from all directions. For 3 hours, she had explained the convergence, answered doubts, and tried to ease fears. Some counselors were intrigued by humanity's experiment, others remained deeply suspicious. The core issue is trust, Miller said, her voice steady despite the long session. Humanity hasn't abandoned the galactic community. We've evolved a new way of making decisions as a species. The convergence was necessary after centuries of internal conflict. Admiral Porter, who had been mostly silent during the session, finally spoke. How can we be certain this technology won't be used against other species? The ability to link minds could be a powerful weapon, Miller nodded, acknowledging the concern. Which is why we've built safeguards into the process. The convergence cannot force any mind to join. It requires complete consent. The quantum field rejects any unwilling participant automatically. And you expect us to simply believe this? Counselor Zix9 asked. No, Miller replied. I expect you to verify it. Send your scientists to Earth, let them study the technology. Confirm the safeguards. We have nothing to hide. This offer created a stir in the chamber. No species had ever voluntarily shared such a significant technological breakthrough so openly. There's something else you should understand, Miller continued. The convergence has changed humanity, but not in the way you fear. We haven't become a hive mind or lost our individuality. Instead, we've gained perspective. For the first time, humans truly understand each other's viewpoints. We've experienced life through each other's eyes. She paused, looking around the chamber. Imagine if the council could do the same. Not permanently, but when facing critical decisions. Imagine truly understanding each other's positions, not just hearing words but feeling the underlying concerns and hopes. A thoughtful silence fell over the assembly. Several representatives exchanged meaningful glances. Meanwhile, on the UGS horizon orbiting Earth, Captain Evans watched the standoff with the Draconish ships. For the past day, neither side had made any aggressive moves. The Draconish vessels maintained their position at the edge of the solar system, weapons still active but not targeting anything specific. Any change in their status? Evans asked Lieutenant Wallace. None, Captain. They're just watching, waiting. Dr. Bell, who had remained on the bridge, suddenly straightened. Something's happening, she said, eyes widening. The convergence field is changing. Science Officer Wright checked his instruments. Confirmed. The energy patterns we've been monitoring are shifting. Becoming more organized, more focused. Is that good or bad? Evans asked. Bell closed her eyes, concentrating. It feels like ... completion. The convergence is reaching its conclusion. As if on cue, communication systems throughout the ship suddenly activated. Screens that had been dark for days lit up with the Earth Global Government symbol. Incoming transmission from Earth, Wallace reported, surprise evident in his voice. Multiple channels, standard protocols. On screen, Evans ordered. President. Paul Howard appeared, looking much as he had in his recorded message, but somehow different. More at ease, perhaps. More certain. Galactic Union Vessel Horizon, this is Earth Central. We are returning to normal communications. The convergence has completed its first phase. We apologize for any concern our silence may have caused. Evans stepped forward. President Howard, this is Captain Evans. We have Draconis vessels at the edge of your system. Their intentions are unclear. Howard nodded. We're aware. We're opening direct communications with them now. And with the Galactic Council, Earth is back online, Captain. And we have much to share. At the Council station, Ambassador Miller was still fielding questions when her communication device signaled. She checked it and smiled. It seems my explanation will no longer be necessary, she announced. Earth has resumed normal communications. President Howard is requesting to address the Council directly. Within minutes, Howard's image appeared on the main screen of the Council chamber. He greeted the assembly respectfully. Representatives of the Galactic Union, thank you for your patience during our temporary withdrawal. The convergence has been successful beyond our expectations. Humanity has achieved what we could not for thousands of years of our history, true consensus on our most fundamental questions. And what does this mean for Earth's relationship with the Union? Admiral Porter asked. We remain committed members, Howard assured him. In fact, we hope to contribute more than ever before. The convergence has given us new perspectives and helped us resolve internal conflicts that previously limited our potential. Will humans remain in this collective state? A counselor from the Vega system asked. Howard shook his head. No, we are already returning to individual existence. The process has begun and will complete within hours. But we retain the ability to enter temporary convergent states when facing species-wide decisions. Think of it as an advanced form of democracy, not just counting votes, but truly understanding each perspective before reaching consensus. And the technology itself? Zix9 pressed. As Ambassador Miller has already offered, we invite scientific delegations to study the safeguards we've built into the system. The ability to link minds is powerful, and we take the responsibility seriously. In Earth's solar system, the Draconis ships began powering down their weapons. Their commander had received similar assurances directly from Earth, without the element of uncertainty. Their justification for a military presence had evaporated on the horizon. Dr. Bell prepared to return to Earth. I should be there when people awaken, she told Captain Evans. There will be adjustments as everyone transitions back to individual consciousness. What was it like? Evans asked quietly. Being part of something so vast? Bell smiled, a distant look in her eyes. Imagine understanding every perspective, feeling every emotion, seeing through billions of eyes at once. Yet somehow not losing yourself in the process. It was transformative. Evans nodded, though she couldn't truly comprehend. The experience. Will you do it again? Yes, though not all at once like this. The convergence will become part of human life, something we enter briefly when needed, then return to our individual existence, enriched by the shared understanding. 3 days later, Admiral Porter met with Captain Evans on the council station. Earth had fully returned to normal operations. Communication channels were active, space traffic had resumed, and humans everywhere were going about their lives, outwardly the same, but fundamentally changed. The council is still processing all this, Porter said, looking out his office. Window at the stars. Some see opportunity, others danger. But no one can deny that Earth has changed the balance of power in the galaxy. Not through weapons or technology, Evans noted. No, by solving the problem of collective decision-making, something every species struggles with in their own way. As they spoke, communications from Earth flooded the galactic networks at unprecedented levels. Art, science, philosophy, and technological innovations poured forth, the products of billions of minds that had worked in perfect harmony, even if only temporarily. Sam Cooper sat in his apartment in Chicago, watching the sunset. 2 weeks ago, he had been part of the greatest shared experience in human history. Now he was himself again, an ordinary teacher with an ordinary life. Yet everything felt different. An alien visitor sat across from him, recording his experiences for a documentary about the convergence. The vegan journalist had asked what it felt like to be part of something larger than himself. It's hard to explain, Sam said thoughtfully. I was still me, but I was also everyone else. I felt their joy, their pain, their hopes. I understood perspectives I'd never considered before. People I might have called enemies, I felt their fears, their reasoning, their love for their families. And now, has it changed how you live? Sam smiled. How could it not? I know now that no one is truly separate. We've always been connected, we just couldn't feel it before. The convergence didn't create something new. It just let us experience what was already there. Outside his window, stars began to appear in the darkening sky. Among them were worlds, whose inhabitants watched Earth with new interest. Humanity had taken an unexpected turn in its development. Not toward conquest or technological dominance, but toward a deeper understanding of consciousness itself. Earth had gone silent for 3 weeks and returned transformed. The panic among galactic leaders had subsided, replaced by curiosity and, in some cases, hope. If humans could bridge the gap between individual and collective existence, what other divides might be crossed? What other understanding might be possible between the diverse species of the galaxy? The human experiment was just beginning, and the universe was watching.